Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a story that has, no joke, shaped civilizations, sparked endless debates, and influenced billions of lives. We're talking about the ultimate origin story, the Book of Genesis.
Okay, let's dive right in. We're tackling a book that tries to answer the biggest questions you could possibly imagine. I mean, from the creation of the entire cosmos to the very nature of human joy and suffering. Yeah, we're talking about the Book of Genesis.
The name itself, Genesis, is literally the Greek word for origin. And honestly, that name just hits the nail on the head, right? This book isn't just trying to be a history text. It's a theological explanation. It's designed to get at those fundamental questions we all ask. Who is God? What does it mean to be human? And why in the world is this place filled with both incredible beauty and so much brokenness?
So to really get a handle on Genesis, it helps to see it as a book in two main parts. Think of it like a film. The first part is this epic, wide-angle shot of all creation and all of humanity. Then, the camera dramatically zooms way in to follow the intimate, messy, and absolutely crucial story of just one single family.
So let's start with that wide-angle view, what's called the primeval history, which covers chapters 1 through 11. This is the story of all humanity. Genesis kicks off with a creation account that is just so incredibly orderly. It's not some chaotic, random explosion. Nope, it's a deliberate, step-by-step process. As you can see, it builds logically, from light to sky to land, and then it fills those spaces with stars, creatures, and finally, us. And at every single stage, the narrative repeats a key phrase, that it was good.
Now, right at the pinnacle of this creation is humanity. We're introduced with this profound idea of being made in the image of God. Now, the text suggests this isn't about, physically looking like God, but about reflecting his character. It's about having these capacities for reason, for creativity, and for morality. And with all that comes a pretty unique responsibility to care for the world. So, this beautiful, harmonious beginning immediately raises a huge question. I mean, if everything started out so perfectly, so good, how do we explain all the conflict and the brokenness we see all around us? Well, Genesis chapter 3 gives us the answer.
The answer comes in an event that's often called the fall. Basically, an active rebellion by the first humans, and the consequences are immediate and just devastating. You can see this massive psychological shift right here. Their innocence is totally replaced by shame, their open trust turns into fear, and that close, intimate connection they had with God is broken. It creates this deep, painful sense of separation. And from that one single act, sin just spreads like a virus. It escalates from the very first murder between two brothers, Cain and Abel, to a level of widespread wickedness that, in the narrative, leads God to judge the world with a great flood. But even after that, human pride rears its head again at the Tower of Babel, which results in confusion and division among all people.
So, after that big collective failure at the Tower of Babel, the narrative lens does that dramatic zoom in we talked about. The story pivots from the whole world to focus on one specific family. This is where Genesis introduces God's rescue plan. And it's a plan that's going to start small, with just a single chosen family.
And this section, the patriarchal history, follows the lineage of 4 key figures. You've got Abraham, his son Isaac, his grandson Jacob, and then his great-grandson Joseph. Their lives, their stories, really form the foundation of the nation of Israel.
It all kicks off with Abraham. God makes this foundational 3-part promise to him, which is often called a covenant. He's promised a land, a family so huge they can't even be counted, and then there's this incredible third part, a promise that through him and his family, the entire world would somehow be blessed. And this part of the story brilliantly illustrates a core theme. God works through deeply flawed people. I mean, take a look at Abraham's grandson, Jacob. His name literally means deceiver. After a lifetime of struggle and conflict, he has this dramatic encounter where he physically wrestles with God and is given a new name, Israel, which means one who struggles with God. And that new identity, it becomes the name for his entire nation.
This whole theme of God working through human failure finds its most powerful expression in Joseph, Jacob's favorite son. After being betrayed and sold into slavery by his own brothers, Joseph's story is one of immense suffering. But through it all, he rises to power and is ultimately able to forgive and save the very family that rejected him. It's this powerful demonstration that even the worst of human evil can be woven into a story of redemption. So, after all these 50 chapters of creation and failure and all this family drama, what's the crucial point? What are we really supposed to take away from this epic book of beginnings?
Well, Genesis really sets the stage for the entire biblical narrative that follows. It gives us a few core truths. First, that God is a purposeful creator of a good world. Second, that humanity, even though we're created with immense value, is fractured by sin. And third, that despite our failures, God's plan is to bring redemption and mercy. And he starts that plan by working through deeply flawed but faithful people.
Ultimately, the book of Genesis is about so much more than just the past. It's a story that diagnoses the human condition while, at the very same time, introducing the beginning of a cure. It leaves us with this foundational narrative of a good world's gone wrong and the start of a long, unfolding story about a promise to make it right.